everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Katarina. Today's video is going to be the next part for my collection slash declutter slash plan to pan series, and I am really excited. Today we will go through my perfume and nail polish collection, and in the previous videos I have not decluttered too many products. I have only decluttered those that I really do not like or that are expired. But today I'm actually going to let go of a lot of perfumes that I may even like them. I may think they're good perfumes, but I just don't wear them because they don't compare to my favorites. So I actually learned yesterday that I will be able to take the perfumes that I declutter to a thrift store. I will be having there a service where they will price everything. I will take there a lot of my clothes before our move. By the way, I will film a chatty get ready with me later about the move and what is going on with that, but I can let you know that we will be moving November 1st. But I'm going to take there a lot of my old clothes that I don't wear or that don't fit or whatever. But they said that I could also bring them some perfumes. So yeah, that's great. I would rather take them there and get a couple of euros from them. And if nobody buys them, they will be donated, which is even better, so that someone can have them who really would appreciate the perfumes. Now I will say my perfume shopping got a little bit out of control before my no-buy. I would say from spring of 2024 to spring of 2025 I bought way too much perfume. I sampled a lot of perfume and I'm just kinda starting to be over of wanting to explore so much. Yes, there are some perfumes that are on my wish list that I would like to try, but that's mainly because I feel it's kinda lacking. For example, what I don't have is a pure musk perfume, which I would like to have. So that's one example. But in general, if I have a great everyday vanilla, let's say, I don't necessarily need to try another one, even if everybody on TikTok hype it. So yeah, that's kind of where I am currently with perfume. That was a long intro, so let's just get to the declutter, and I'm going to go through this by brand. Okay, so in the front I do have a couple of my very favorite brands, so Kayali and Khadlaj. So let's start from Kayali, and let's start with my favorite fragrance from my entire collection. So this one is the Kayali Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli, and this one, in my opinion, is the most underrated Kayali out there, while I do think that the Vanilla 28 is kind of overrated for what it is. So I do have two of these Kayalis right now, but I have also had either a full bottle or 10 ml travel spray of Vanilla 28, Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper and Yum Pistachio Gelato. Vanilla 28, in my opinion, it's just, I don't think it's that great. Like, I don't think the scent is that special, to be completely honest, but the performance is even bigger issue because it needs time to macerate. And in my personal opinion, for Kayali price tag, you shouldn't have to macerate the perfume for 6 months before it actually works. And I will also say that with some of the lighter Kayalis, I have also sampled many more Kayalis than these that I have already mentioned. But with some of the lighter ones, I just find that the performance is not there for the price tag. But I'm not saying that all of their perfumes are not performing well. The stronger ones, I think, really do last well on skin, on clothes. For example, both of these, if I spray them to my clothes, they will be there until I wash my clothes. So they perform absolutely amazingly. But let's talk about my holy grail. At Fragrantica you can set a signature scent, and I have set my signature scent to be Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli from Kayali. So this one is a vanilla scent that is smoky and spicy. It's so interesting. It has patchouli there, and I think that is what turns some people away from this. But the patchouli is not irritating for me personally, like it is in some perfumes. But here it is like a really sweet patchouli. It makes this a little bit more earthy, but I would say this is like an edgy vanilla. When you first spray it on, the patchouli is there a little bit more, but after a couple of hours even that disappears and it's just this really sweet vanilla with a little bit of spiciness there. Now it is a little bit stronger perfume, so for me this is more of a special occasion thing. Typically when it is a special occasion, this is the one that I go for, unless maybe we are in spring, for example, and I don't feel wearing something this smoky, because this has some smokiness there. This is my holy grail and I will always keep repurchasing it. I just hope Kayali never discontinues it. I saw some rumors that it's discontinued, but I actually reached the brand and they confirmed that it is not discontinued. Another Kayali that I have is the Vanilla Oud, and this is the 10 ml bottle. And I do think this is a beautiful scent. It's a really creamy and woody vanilla. It's totally the darkest perfume in my collection. And I do think it's really well done. However, I don't really I don't really wear it, because this one for me is not everyday appropriate. It's a little bit too dark and heavy for me to wear on my everyday, and then when it is a special occasion, I never wear this one over Vanilla Royale, because for me Vanilla Royale is so special. This is pretty, but it just doesn't touch my heart the same way than Vanilla Royale does. So I am actually going to declutter this one. It is a really well done perfume, and I do think this is a great introduction to oud, which I don't even think I have other oud fragrances. Vanilla Royale has oud there, but it also has so much more going on, so I don't really pick the oud the same way that I pick it from here. This one is something that I'm going to declutter. Moving on to another one of my favorite brands, which is Khadlaj. Now I only do have 2 perfumes from them, but in fact I do have 3 on my wish list. The Musk Pure Musk Blend, the Harem Al Sultan, the perfume, so not the oil, and then the new Nafaish Shark. I'm not sure if I'm going to sample them or not, it depends a little bit. The samples from Khadlaj are just a little bit more difficult for me to get than the samples from Lattafa, for example. So I may need to pay really expensive shipping so that the sample and the shipping would be just as much as getting 1 bottle. Yeah, let's talk about the ones that I have. My second favorite fragrance in my entire collection is this one. This one is the Khadlaj Empire Victor, and this I got for a birthday gift from my husband, so I absolutely do love this perfume. This one is a beautiful dense caramel vanilla with some lemon there, and I actually do think that the sweetness and the vanilla reminds me a lot of the Vanilla Royale. Because this has citrus notes in the opening, it makes it a little bit more fresh, while the Kayali one is a little bit more dark and smoky. So I do think this is more wearable on every day, and this one is the perfect everyday fragrance for me in fall. I just absolutely love this. I think this is so well done, and I will say often these Arabic fragrance brands do dupes, not always but often, and the dupes are the most popular ones from them, but this one I think is an original from Khadlaj, which I do appreciate that they also make those. Some people compare this to the Hufflepuff whatever perfume, but I don't think this is intended to be a dupe for that, and I have never smelled it, so I have no idea if it smells similar or not. I'm so excited. Now I'm going to declutter everything that I don't really love, and this is going to be my everyday fragrance for the entire fall. Okay, so another Khadlaj that I have is Frozen White, and now this one is actually a dupe. It's the dupe for the Matiere Premier Vanilla Powder. So this one is a really coconutty and powdery vanilla, and I really do enjoy this for summer, although I will say it can be a little bit strong, so I would say with this one a little bit goes a long way. But yeah, I do think this is beautiful for summer, and I really enjoyed it last summer. I got it in spring, and I will say very first when I got it, it smelled awful. It smelled really screechy and had that kind of like unisexy musk thing going on, but after a couple of months the scent had totally changed and it had become way more smooth. Now I do think this one leans clearly more feminine and it's beautiful. This one totally is kind of like a summertime gourmand that I enjoy. And I will say summer scents are really difficult for me. I often find that they're either too fruity or too floral or too citrusy. Sometimes they're too juvenile, so I find it's really difficult for me to find a summer scent that I absolutely love. I used to have a scent like that from a brand called Boho, that is like some sort of a natural cosmetic brand. They did have this perfume called Goa, which was absolutely amazing. It was like a coconutty vanilla citrus in the opening. It was absolutely stunning. And I wish I could find something similar because that perfume unfortunately is discontinued. If it wasn't, I would buy 10 bottles. And I'm not kidding, I would buy so many bottles that I never run out. But yeah, it was my favorite fragrance for years and I do miss that. And I wish I could find something kind of similar. But yeah, I do think for summer, something like this I want to have that is kind of like a little bit smoother gourmand. That has that vanilla there. But then also I would like to find something that is fruity but still kind of like a little bit deeper and expensive. So I'm hoping that the Harem Al Sultan would fill that spot. So let's next talk about the brand that I have most perfumes from, Lattafa. I actually do have 5 of their perfumes and my favorite one out of the 5 is this one, Her Confession. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing. This is a dupe for an expensive fragrance called Plunge Bed. Wow, this one is a beautiful lactonic vanilla with a lot of florals there. Now, because of the florals, this one is a like really soft and feminine fragrance. It is something that I wouldn't be in a mood for now in fall, even if the weather and everything would kind of be appropriate, but it just has that really soft spring feel. Last spring this was my favorite fragrance and every time that I wasn't wearing something that I was trying to pan, this one was my choice. It is incredible. Now the only thing that I will say about this one is that if the weather gets too warm, like let's say over 15 Celsius degrees, this one on me starts to smell a little bit like spoiled milk. So because of that, I do think this is better for like the late winter, early spring and chillier spring days. Thankfully here in Finland we do have pretty cold springs. And now that we will be moving, it will be even colder because the winter will last longer. So I'm able to wear this one longer too. But yeah, once we get closer to summer and the weather really starts being warm, at that point I personally cannot really wear lactonic notes because they do have that spoiled milk sort of feel. But for under 15 Celsius degrees spring weather, this one is absolutely amazing. So this is definitely a key. Another Lattafa that I'm going to keep is Nebras. Now, I will say Nebras is not necessarily my absolute favorite fragrance, but it is still a fragrance that for some days is my first choice. So let me go over the notes because otherwise I find this is difficult to explain. So I'm going to start from the base with this one. It has sugar, tonka bean, amber and musk in the base and it is this beautiful kind of like fall winter appropriate base. In the middle it has vanilla, cacao and rose, and then in the top notes it has red berries and mandarin orange, which makes this one a little bit more fresh compared to most of the gourmand perfumes that I have. This is just really nice. And I will say, now that we are in fall, I wouldn't necessarily most days want to wear this one over Empire Victor, which is really a fall holy grail. However, each season there are those days when I maybe want to wear something a little bit more fresh, something a little bit less gourmand, and this one really is a gourmand scent. It really smells like some sort of a warm caramel vanilla lemon pie, but this one is a more fresh take, and I do think it's perfect for days when I crave that freshness but I still want it to be fall and winter appropriate. So for example, if I go outside with kids, if it's a day off, days like that, this really is my first choice. I don't know if I would repurchase it after I go through this, but I am going to keep this and I'm totally going to use this up. And can we just take a look at the bottle? My daughter also loves this bottle. Okay, so another Lattafa that I'm going to keep, although I will say I don't think this is the perfect execution of what it's trying to dupe, but I'm going to keep it because I like it. Eclair. So this is a dupe for Giardini di Toscana Bianco Latte, which must be the most duped perfume out there. Like every Arabic brand has came out with a dupe for that. And unfortunately, I don't think Eclair is the best dupe. I have sampled Bianco Latte, and I think once I have finished Eclair, I'm just going to buy the original because it is really that good. It's a little bit more special and it lasts way better, at least on me, what Eclair does. So yeah, I just think it's one where the original is so good that I don't want to try the other dupes anymore and I will just rather buy the original. Bianco Latte and Eclair are really cozy, lactonic vanilla scents with some caramel in there, and it smells absolutely incredible here. However, I don't know if this is a batch issue or what, but mine had to macerate for so long before it smelled like anything. Like, it took way longer maceration than these usually do, and often Lattafas don't need to macerate at all. But this one started smelling good like 6 months after getting it. And another thing is that when you spray it for the first couple of minutes, you only get like the scent of alcohol. I really hate how much alcohol there is in the opening. I didn't get that at all with Bianco Latte. So yeah, I don't absolutely love how this is executed, but the scent itself I do enjoy. And because I want to buy the original Bianco Latte, I'm just going to use this one up first. This is something that I'm trying to use up next winter, because for me this is like a great winter, the really darkest and coldest time of the year. Everyday fragrance. It's so cozy. It's like the coziest fragrance that I have. So yeah, this is for me a perfect winter scent. But yeah, I do want to use this one up and buy the original. Okay, I have 2 more Lattafas, and actually I am going to surprisingly declutter both of them. Can we just for a while appreciate the bottle of Teriyaki? This is the most beautiful perfume bottle in my collection. I love how there is this combination of see-through glass and painted glass, and then the dips in the bottle, really beautiful. The cap is beautiful, the details are beautiful, even the color of the juice matches it. I really do love the execution of the bottle. It's so stunning, and I will say this is a great perfume. And this one is another original one, so not duping anything, which I think is amazing. Because most of the times, as I said, the dupes get the most hype. But this one is original. Whew. But I'm going to declutter this one because this one is just too much for me. This one is a really strong and sweet caramel scent. It has a lot going on. It has some spiciness, it has some leather, and this is so strong that if you overspray, you're going to fill an entire room with your fragrance, and it is so sweet that I think it's going to bother some other people. And yeah, while I do want people to smell my fragrance, if they come close, I don't necessarily want to fill an entire room with fragrance. And even if I wear just a really little bit of this, like one spray to my wrist and then put it a little bit like this and then put it to my neck, I'm still going to get this really sweet scent throughout the day, and it is so sweet that it kinda makes me a little bit nauseous. I would really want to love this perfume because I think Lattafa did a great job with it, but it is just too much for me and I don't reach for it. Also, this one by no means is everyday appropriate in my opinion because it is so strong, so I would mainly wear it for special occasion, but in my books it doesn't compare to Vanilla Royale, which is always going to be my first choice for special occasion. And then I do have another, maybe a little bit more romantic special occasion scent later, and yeah, this one I wouldn't wear over that one either. Then the last Lattafa that I have is Shad. So Shad is a really summery yellow floral fragrance. It's really pretty. I sampled it last summer, like a year ago, and I fell in love, and then I bought the full-size bottle, but unfortunately this summer I have not really loved it quite so much anymore. Now I think it is beautiful, but I think this one is just a little bit too much floral. Like I feel it's lacking just a little bit of something. Either it would need to have a little bit more like gourmandy elements to it, a little bit more depth, or then it would need to be a little bit more fresh, have some citrus there, for example. But now it just falls a little bit short for me. Okay, so the remaining fragrances are all from different brands. So far we have had multiple fragrances from one brand. Let's continue with some summer scents. This is Mancera Cocoa Vanille. This one is really strong. Now Mancera and Montal, which is a sister brand for Mancera, they make some of the strongest perfumes out there. And this is interesting because sometimes these lighter fragrances, like this one kinda is like lighter, more summery, sometimes they just lack with performance. Not this one. This one is so potent, you don't need much. It's really sweet, it's like going to last you the entire day. If you spray it on your clothes, it's going to be there until you wash the clothes. It is really beautiful. However, this one is a really peachy scent and it almost smells like suntan lotion. It has some florals there, it has coconut, it has vanilla. I live in Finland and I just feel that this is kind of like too peachy and it doesn't kind of like match the mood of summer that we do have here. Like for me this reminds more of a vacation. Then also because this is so sweet, I'm afraid of wearing this one because I feel like all of the bees are going to be after me if I'm going to wear this one. It's a little bit too much for me. This is another coconut vanilla fragrance, but I feel for me personally, for my lifestyle, for where I live, for my taste, the Fursan White is just a little bit better. So I'm actually going to declare this one. This is one of the more expensive perfumes I have, so part of me is like, okay, but I paid quite a bit for it. Although I think it was on sale when I bought it, so maybe it wasn't so expensive. But yeah, I think at this point, you know, even if I paid a little bit more for something, it shouldn't be the deciding factor if I'm going to keep something or not. I rather want to think about how well this product works for me. Let's actually talk about this one next because this one also, in my opinion, is a little bit more on the summery side of things. This is Hair Felicity from Paris Corner, and this one is a dupe for the Kayali Wedding Silk Santal, which I feel people were waiting for a perfect dupe for that for such a long time, and this is the closest one. But it's not quite similar. I have actually sampled Wedding Silk Santal and I really enjoyed the fragrance, but I had some issues with the performance. For that price tag, I just think the perfume should perform a little bit better. So I didn't buy a bottle of that one. Also at that point when I sampled it, it was still limited edition, but Kayali made it permanent afterwards, which I do appreciate because the fans were asking for it. So I do appreciate if brands do listen to their customers. Compared to the Wedding Silk Santal, I do think this one is a little bit more sharp and a little bit less smooth. And that makes me not like this one as much, like the scent itself. I think this one performs better. Like if I spray this on, it's going to stay there the entire day. And this one is really sweet, really feminine in my opinion. I do get this sugary scent throughout the entire day. So the performance is, in my opinion, better than with the Kayali, but the scent itself, I do prefer the Kayali because it is smoother. This one is one of those that I don't really know where I would wear this because I personally think this one is a little bit too sweet and sugary to wear on warm weather, but then on cool weather it's maybe a little bit too bright and I would prefer to go for something that is more gourmand. Yeah, I am going to declutter this one. Let's next talk about my Theodoros Kalottinis Coffee Addict, which is in my project pan, but you know what? There's still at least like 2/3 left, so I don't like this perfume enough to use it up. Still a week ago, a couple of days ago, I thought that I would just suck it up and use it up, but no, I don't like this enough. So this is a coffee perfume, and for a while I was trying to find the perfect coffee perfume, and I think I have now realized that even if I love to drink a lot of coffee, I don't necessarily need a fragrance that is smelling like coffee, or at least I have not yet come across a coffee perfume that I absolutely do love. This one, I think when I spray it on, it has somehow this like medicinal scent to it. Like it smells like hospital. It's really difficult to explain. There's something weird about it. I don't know what it is, but unfortunately it doesn't work for me. And there's just no point for me to force myself to pan something that I don't really enjoy. I think from all of my fragrances, this one probably is my least favorite. Also the performance I don't think is great, but it's a little bit weird. So I'm going to declutter this one. Okay, so the last full-size fragrance that I have is Shakaf Oud Tonga from Swiss Arabian. From this I also pulled the notes because I do think this one is a little bit more complex. And this one is a dupe for something. Let me check if I can find it. It's a dupe for Velvet Tonga from BDK Perfumes. So this one is another one of my Khadlaj special occasion fragrances. It has almond in the top notes, Tunisian orange, blossom, cinnamon and Turkish rose in the middle notes, and then in the base it has tonka bean, vanilla and amberwood. So I totally get that deep base from this perfume, but then there's a little brightness and sweetness from the almonds in the opening, and then there are some of those like floral notes that makes this really feminine. This one is a really interesting perfume. And this one is another one of my special occasion fragrances because compared to the Vanilla Royale, which is my favorite, again, this one is a little bit more feminine somehow. And I'm not saying that Vanilla Royale isn't feminine, but this one, maybe because of the florals, it has even more of that feminine vibe. So this one is really beautiful. I think actually some of the notes remind quite a bit of the Nepras notes, but they are still really different perfumes, even if they have some similarities. So yeah, this one is really beautiful. Is this my favorite fragrance in my collection? Absolutely not, but I do think it's a really well done perfume and I do want to keep it. Maybe one day if I finish it, I won't repurchase it and I will try to find something that speaks to me even more than this for another one of my special occasion fragrances. This is for me too strong to wear on my everyday basis, and for special occasion I think this is something that I would be more likely to reach for like in late winter, in spring, maybe even in summer, but it's not necessarily super summery scent. Like I have seen some people saying that it's like a summery gourmand. I think this is too strong to wear on every day in summer, but for summer special occasion I do think this is really great. So yeah, going to keep this one. It's also a stunning bottle. Okay, so next we do have my perfume samples, and you know what, I think I'm going to declutter almost all of them because I'm just over forcing myself to use samples that I'm not really feeling. So what I think I will do for the samples that I'm not going to keep, I'm going to pack them to a see-through bag, plastic bag, and then I'm going to also take them to the thrift store. So hopefully they will price it for like just €1 or 2 and somebody will get a lot of samples to test. But yeah, I'm starting to be over of sampling. Of course, if there is something that I'm really curious about and I can get the sample, then I will rather sample it than blind buy it. But in general, sampling for me always leads to just buying a lot of things that sound nice. Maybe they have some notes that I like, but then I just don't like the scent. So yeah, I am going to declutter most of these, but let me pull out first the two that I'm going to keep. Elysia Vanilla from Fragrance World, and this one is their dupe for the Vanilla 28 from Kayali. People were waiting for so long a dupe for that, and I think this is maybe the first one that came out. Now, as I said, I do think Vanilla 28 is overrated for what it is. It takes too long to macerate, and the performance before it's just really poor performance. Like I sprayed on and I can smell nothing after 5 minutes. Okay, I don't smell much at all from here. Maybe I would need to spray it on a little bit. Let me do that. Now that I sprayed it on, there's a lot of alcohol. Let's let it dry down a little bit. Maybe at the same time I will let you know which is the another one of the perfumes that I want to keep. The another one is Coffee Latte from Khadlaj, And yeah, as I said, I love Khadlaj, and pretty much anything from them I will use it up. But this is their take on the Mancera Amor Cafe, which I have previously sampled. Okay, so let's now get back to the Elysia Vanilla. So I sprayed it a little bit on my hand, and yeah, I do think it smells similar to Vanilla 28, but I think it's just somehow weak. I'm starting to question if the formulation of Vanilla 28 and both this are something that for some reason I am nose blind to it and I just don't get it. But it is this vanilla, yes, but I feel it's somehow lackluster. I don't know. But I am really curious of trying this one out to see how I really feel about it. I think it's something that I would especially want to wear in winter and maybe early spring, because it is a little bit more maybe floral take still on vanilla compared to some of those really gourmand things. And I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, if I disliked the scent, like let's say I do dislike all of these. If I disliked this, I wouldn't keep it and force myself to use it, but it's something that I'm genuinely curious about and I am going to use it up and see how I feel about it. But for now, I still think that the scent profile itself is just really overhyped, but we'll see. But then let's talk about coffee latte. So I sprayed it on my hand, and this is, by the way, the first time I have now sprayed it on my hand, and whoa, this one is actually beautiful. I have sampled Amor Cafe previously, and for me personally it was just too sweet and sugary and not enough coffee and too boozy. I wanted to love it because I love coffee, but I just didn't love it. But this one, when I smell it now from my hand, yes, I do notice that it is a dupe for the Amor Cafe, but I actually think this one is better because it's less boozy and less sugary. So I'm actually really curious of trying this one out and seeing how it wears throughout the day, for example. So yeah, these two samples are the ones that I'm going to keep. The rest of these are something that I don't like them. Majority of them are something that I wasn't even so curious of the perfume, but I have either gotten it as a gift with purchase or I have just wanted to try some random samples and I ended up not liking them. But let me quickly go over them and tell you why I don't like them. This one is going to make so many people mad, but this is Angham from Lattafa. This is a dupe for the Burberry Goddess. I was really curious because this is so many people's favorite from Lattafa. Ugh. No. It has a lavender note there, and there is something in the lavender note that I personally cannot deal with. And here the lavender is combined with some really sweet notes like vanilla and praline, and it just makes a combination that makes me so nauseous. I remember when I got this sample and I sprayed it on my hand because I was really curious. I had to wash it off because it was so offensive. Like, it's one that makes me sick to my stomach. And I'm not saying that this is a bad perfume by any means, but there is just something in the combination that I cannot tolerate myself. But many people love this, and I don't know, I have not smelled Burberry Goddess if this is a good tube or not. Another Lattafa that I'm going to declutter is Teriyaki Intense, which this, in my opinion, is nothing like the original Teriyaki. This one is a really boozy plum scent. I just think this is a little bit too much boozy and I don't get it. I'm going to declutter this one. In general, I'm not the biggest fan of boozy fragrances, although the Vanilla Royale has rum in the opening. Actually, the Kilian's Angel Share, oh my gosh, like I remember when I tried it on, I could not understand why it is so hyped, because for me it smelled like I'm wasted. And I don't drink alcohol, so it was like really weird to have a perfume that smells like straight up bar or a nightclub. Like, it was weird. But yeah, it's a really hyped perfume and some people love it, so, you know, good for them. But yeah, for me personally, no thank you for too boozy notes. Next is Lattafa The Kingdom for women. For this one to be for women, I think there is that really screechy unisex base that sometimes these do have, these Arabic brands, and I just don't like this. I don't think it's really good. Some people say it reminds of the Wedding Silk Santal, and I do think they have some similar notes, but they don't smell similar at all. Then another Lattafa. This is Anna Abie Powder. I sampled from this line the watermelon one, which was kind of cute. It was like a really summery, juicy scent, but nah, not my favorite still, but better than this one. This one is a weird, kind of like waxy vanilla. I have so many amazing vanilla, so no point wasting my time on something that I know that is not a favorite. Another Lattafa. This is Peace and Love. This is just really weird. It's like a woody, fruity fragrance. Oof. It smells like a woody soap to me. Then let me see if there's any other Lattafas. Oh yes, Yara Mua Moi. How you're supposed to say it. In Finnish, by the way, moi means high. It's like a casual high. Moi. So yeah, this one is a really generic scent. I have seen people comparing this one to one of the Marc Jacobs fragrances, and I don't think this is bad. It's just so generic. And sometimes these generic fragrances, like this one, you cannot really point out what's going on in there other than it is a really generic fragrance. I think those were all of the Lattafas, so let's see what else we do have here. Rare Tiffany from Afnan. I have zero idea why I decided to sample this, but this one is one of the weirdest perfumes. This smells just really dated. At Fragrantica, I saw somebody saying that this one smells like an aunt from the 90s, and maybe that's a pretty accurate description of this one. Okay, then I do have here Momento from Reeves, and this one is a dupe for Arabian Tonka from Montal, which I have sampled previously, and now I will say, in my personal opinion, Arabian Tonka is like a masterpiece of perfume. It is incredible, and if I wasn't going for this more minimalist lifestyle, I would totally buy it just for the sake of having it. But I will say that Arabian Tonka is way too much for me. It's so heavy. It's one of those that I cannot really wear it anywhere, except maybe a special occasion. But even then, I would rather go for my Vanilla Royale, so I wouldn't wear it. I would just like to have it. And I do think it's a beautiful fragrance. This one is a dupe for that, and it just, even when I smell it from here, it's too strong. And yeah, I do think if I wanted to have Arabian Tonka, I would just buy the original. Kiana Crush from Afnan. This one I wanted to sample because I thought that maybe I will like this one better than Kiana Angel, which I hate pant. And I'm not going to hate pan perfumes anymore, but I hate pant that. And I love the bottle of Kiana Angel. And this one has similar bottle, but in pink color. So the bottle is just so pretty. So I thought that, you know what, maybe I will like this scent better, and it's horrible. This one is another one that I would describe it smelling dated, but it's just way stronger than the Rare Tiffany one from Afnan. Like, that is more like a dated everyday fragrance, and this is like a dated special occasion. Then the rest of the samples that I have here are gift with purchase fragrances, and yeah, I'm not going to waste my time using them. This one is called Aris L'Absolu, and this one is another tube for the Velvet Tonka, but I do have the Sakhaf Oud Tonka already, so no point for me to force myself to use this one. Then I do have Endless. I don't know which brand it is, but this one is like a rose fragrance. I'm not a rose perfume girl at all. I do have rose somewhere in the notes with a couple of perfumes, and I can appreciate that in them, but this is a really rose-forward fragrance, which I don't like. And then the last one. This one is so awful that I don't even want to smell it. This one is actually also from Lattafa. It's the Art of Nature one. Let me do it. Oof. Okay, so this one is a really dark, leathery scent. Extremely masculine. And I'm sure it smells amazing on many men. I don't think here in Finland, at least, you don't smell this kind of perfume. But maybe like in the Middle East, you do smell this and it smells normal there. But for me, this is just so offensive and like too strong and so dark. Okay, so last part of this video will be going through my nail polish collection. Now, I have been going back and forth recently if I want to have nail polish or if I want to get my nails done professionally. A week ago, I was still thinking that I do want to use just nail polish because I want to save some money. But this week, I actually got a job, at least for the beginning of the year. It is going to be a temporary contract. Hopefully, I'm able to continue after that. But now that I got the job, I am again thinking that, okay, I do want to get my nails done professionally. I just don't want to be bothered painting my nails and then having this chipped nail polish that just looks unpolished. And one aspect of it is that, you know, the people doing nails, they are typically women who own this small business. And even if for me personally, like going to the manicures, it adds up throughout the year, it's still something that I am willing to do because I do want to support a small business, and there's a lot of talent that goes into the work, a lot of detail, a lot of hours that they have practiced. And yeah, it's just something that at this point I feel I want to do. I will probably get my first manicure actually in December because I will have a graduation party, so I want to have like really cute nails there. But let's go through this quickly. My camera battery is also running out. I do have one base coat from Essence, and then I do have from Catrice 2 top coats, and from here you can see why I have 2 top coats. So obviously I'm not able to wear the same top coat with dark and light nail polishes because the dark nail polishes are going to color the top coat, and then if I put this one on top of a light color, it's just going to look ashy and dirty. So because of that, I do have 2 top coats. These are something that I always keep like replacing, otherwise I have not bought nail polish in a really long time. I have 2 Color Club nail polishes, and these are really old. Actually, some of my nail polishes are the really oldest products in my collection. I don't have anything else that is from the last decade, but some of my nail polishes are from 2018 and 2019. I would not put makeup that old to my face anymore, and that I had to learn a hard way because I got a reaction using expired makeup. But with nail polish I'm not so worried because it's only going to go on top of my nail. But I do have 2 of these nude Color Club nail polishes. I do have Piece of Cake. It's from a wedding themed collection which I actually bought because I wrote a wedding blog when we got married in 2014 that was called Piece of Wedding Cake. I'm actually wearing this nail polish today, and you know what, surprisingly, I think I'm going to declutter this. Coming to this video, I didn't think I would, but I just don't like this. This one has gone thick. When I apply it, it looks ugly, like it goes on patchy. It has shimmer there, and maybe if I wanted to have this sort of sheer nude nail polish, maybe I wouldn't want to have shimmer there, because the shimmer makes it even more just weird and uneven looking. I don't like it. I'm going to declutter this one. This declutter is going even better than I thought it would. And then this another one I'm also going to declutter. This one is called Nothing But a Smile, and it is from a collection where they made nude from all skin tones, from really pale to really dark, which I think it was a great idea. However, I personally don't like this because this is a color that when I wear it on my nails, it's so close to my skin tone that it looks like I don't have nails. So if I go for nude nails, I would prefer a lighter color that is going to give kind of like that clean girl look, or then I would prefer to have something a little bit darker, like this one for example, so that it's darker from my skin tone and you actually can see my nails and it just doesn't look like I have fingers without any nails. So this one I'm also going to declutter, and it's also really thick and dry. Okay, so this one I think is my newest nail polish. This is not from the last decade, but it's still at least a couple of years old. This one is from Perfume. It's their Jelly High Shine Nail Paint in the shade Nutmeg. And this one actually is like kind of like a dusty rose sort of shade. But it is still kind of like nude, so it doesn't go too rosy and it doesn't go too cool. So I actually find this one is kind of like a great neutral option for me. So I'm going to keep this one, at least for now. Then I do have here a couple of darker nail polishes. I do have black one. This is Camelot from England, and this has gone so thick. I actually wore this before this manicure that I'm wearing today. I wore this one. It was a struggle to get it on because it was so thick and it was a huge mess all around my nails. However, I'm still going to keep this just for now, because we are now in the season when I do crave some darker nail polish every once in a while. And once I got this on, it actually wore really well. Like, it wore many days without any chipping at all. And if I wanted to, I could have done a touch-up and gotten a week use out of this. So I'm going to keep this for now, but for sure this is going to be decluttered later. Then I do have a red nail polish. Now this one is really old. This is the Catrice Caught on the Red Carpet from the Iconels line. This one is extremely old. I think it's from 2018. But surprisingly, it has not gotten like super thick. I guess I just have not used it so much, so it hasn't tried out. And this one I'm going to keep. I think from all of the nail polishes, if I'm going to declutter everything else, I do want to keep a red to wear on my toenails in summer, when you possibly can see my toes a little bit more if I'm wearing sandals and stuff. But yeah, I do love red nail polish. I do think it's such a feminine thing, such a classic color. So yeah, going to keep this one. And then I do have the Shine Last Go nail polish from Essence. This is a glitter polish and I never wear this. And now I'm thinking if I should declutter this one. This is not thick and dry yet. It's a little bit newer also in my collection. It's actually really runny, so it's not expired, but I just don't wear this. I feel glitter on nails can look cute, especially like on the tip of ring finger, but when I do it myself, it often tends to look a little bit tacky. So I need to be careful. You know, I'm going to keep this for now because like we are approaching holiday season and all of that. So I'm going to keep this for now. Maybe I will every once in a while do a little glitter, golden glitter tip on my ring finger, nothing else. Okay, so here's still all of the products that I am decluttering today, and honestly I can't believe how well I did with this declutter, and I feel so relieved that I'm able to get this out. The nail polishes are so old, I'm just going to throw them away. The other products are going to go to the thrift store, so if somebody buys them, great, I can get a couple of euros. If not, then they will get donated. So yeah, I don't need to worry about using them up, but someone else will get them. So yeah, I'm just really happy with this declutter. I feel I'm getting more and more over of the days when I would force myself to project pan something that is not a favorite. For a really long time I had this true project panner mentality that I'm just going to use a product up and I'm not going to give up. But it just, I feel I have maybe gotten to an age where I don't want to waste a day of my life wearing something that I don't absolutely love. And I know there are people who don't agree with that, but like if I can give these perfumes to someone else or sell them, I think that's a way better thing for me to do than force myself to use it and not be happy about my perfumes. So yeah, I'm really happy about this declutter. As I said, I will be filming at some point a Chatty Get Ready With Me video where I will explain things a little bit, like what's going on in our life. The move is going to happen. I also got a job. But before filming that, I will film a Q4 makeup inventory. I can't believe we have now entered Q4 and it's only 3 months left of the year. Now I have filmed declutter videos for all of those categories that are included into my makeup inventory. I possibly will still film 1 or 2 declutter videos, so hair products and skincare and body care products are something I have not gone through. We'll see. I feel those are really boring products to talk about, so I don't know if I feel like filming them, so let me know if you want to see them. If you want to see me decluttering my skincare and body care, I will do it on camera, but if nobody cares, maybe I will then spare my time and just do it off camera. But yeah, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye bye!